Hello everybody, welcome back to another Path of Exile tutorial. So, today is upgrade day. Christmas you could say. We have made a few changes to our build, but also, more importantly, we've made a few changes to our King's March farming strategy. Now, in the previous video we showcased how to make use of extremely cheap scarabs, 8 mod maps, and to go out and get, frankly, quite a lot of ore and bars to be converted into cash. Well, after pondering, running some numbers, and doing a whole lot more maps, we have determined conclusively that the guarded horde sulfite monsters do not contribute in any meaningful way. Their sulfite neither counts towards the mining byproducts node, nor does it count towards giving you bars. So we decided to cut it, because even if the 5% chance that you might get double sulfite is good, we decided it wasn't good enough. And if that's not good enough, then an extra 6% sulfite from those chests is also not good enough. And if that's not good enough, we can then cut these points, and this, and packed with energy. After all, we grab the sulfite chest last, not first like most people do. So the extra damage is only really going to be useful if we decided to hold a Verisium vein until the very end. Then we would grab this, take on the Verisium vein, and Bob's your uncle. Well, I decided I'm not going to do that, so we got rid of that. Well, now we have a tree. We had a whole bunch of wasted points. So I went ahead and I redesigned my pathing to connect down here. I was able to come up here. I was able to grab a whole bunch of blocking nodes to make sure that I have a 100% chance to have an extra ore deposit. That's actually over 100%. And the newest addition, tormented spirits. By unspecking all of these points here, getting rid of the mining byproducts, because I have also determined, now this could be wrong, this could just be really bad RNG, but I have determined that even though we are collecting sulfite, it just is being converted not into azurite but into refiner's bargains ore, which then is made into bars, it is not giving us azurite. Over 100 maps, and we have not gotten a single drop of azurite. Leads me to believe that this doesn't work either. Now, these points here for the extra sulfite I did leave because this should work to give extra azurite, or to give extra ore and bars, but the opportunity cost on this just wasn't needed. I was able to drop a point over here alongside the lost transit node. I still cannot drop these two nodes and therefore the two connecting nodes. I need to find a way to do that. However, for right now, we have a 97% chance. Where is it? Yeah, a 97% chance plus an additional 8% from here, so it's 105 plus whatever the default value is. Now, I assume the default value is 5%. That should mean that if I drop this node here, I would actually have 100% still. But I'm afraid to test that on these experiments because I don't want to ruin my numbers. If you can confirm through your own large-scale testing that we do in fact have a base 5% chance to have an ore deposit, then we can drop one more point and put it somewhere else, such as blocking Sacred Grove scarabs. I don't plan to block Sacred Grove ever, just because of Refiner's Bargain, but you might want to. Now, the reason we added possessed monsters and tormented spirits is because Refiner's Bargain upgrades light, returns life force into crops, which it doesn't do it at a very good rate, but it does do it, and the scarabs are unaffected, so something to consider. And it turns sulfite into ore and bars, which is the one that we do care about. But we also need dust. We need dust in order to send large crop shipments for those juicy mirror shards. Now, at the moment, I am not trying to save up 25 million in bars and ores and stuff like that to send out. I am just letting my crops continue to grow blue xanthanum, and I have my thaumaturgic dust from disenchanting tier 1, 2, and 3 uniques, and the occasional tier 0. But what if I can get the dust as well without having to spend gold? After all, spending 5,000 gold an hour is a lot. And that is what we have been experimenting with, and what we're going to be showing here in the video today. With the Speaker of the Dead keystone, tormented spirits cannot possess monsters, they can only possess players. You, then, as the player, run around and touch monsters, causing them to be touched and then die. Now, because I am a death aura build, unfortunately, I tend to kill anything that is not magic or rare before I'm in range to touch them for Speaker of the Dead. But this is okay, because I usually don't kill rares, and I sometimes don't kill magics, especially on tankier maps. And then by touching them, they get a huge quantity and rarity bonus, meaning more gold, more experience, and more scarabs. The Unrelenting Spirit makes it so that the boss has a chance to be possessed, which is fantastic. A possessed boss, of course, will drop a lot more loot, a lot more gold, everything else. But then also, the Refiner's Bargain causes any equipment dropped by them with rarity to have a 5% chance to be converted into dust. This only applies to equipment. It does not apply to maps. It does not apply to currency. Those all still drop as normal. So, if you manage to touch a magic and rare monster, and only magic and rare monsters, they're going to drop a lot more equipment than a normal white mob. This means that the amount of dust you're going to get will also be increased. Same for the unique boss at the end. We have down here an additional tormented spirit. All spirits have 75% increased duration, which is just nice. And then all the way up here, probably the most important node, your maps have a 10% chance to contain an additional spirit, so we can have up to 2 spirits per map. And finally, up to 5 rare monsters and their minions are touched or possessed in the case of the rare monster. Now, being possessed gives a much bigger loot and rarity bonus than being touched, and so this node does not matter or care about this node, because this is only ones that are loose in your map. This one causes them to spawn possessed. There also is a node somewhere, try and find it here, or no, maybe it's a scarab. Maybe it's the scarab that causes tormented spirits to be released. Yeah. There's a scarab that can also re-release them, so after you kill the possessed monsters, you have a chance of getting the spirit to possess you. But anyway, so we've managed to rework the tree to fit in this to try and passively farm some dust. We are once again using Jungle Valley maps with 100 and something percent item quantity and whatever on the pack size. We are still using the Sulfite Scarab, Refinement. We are using a Torment Scarab instead of the Influenced pack size Scarab. Now, this is just because, yeah, there's a 25% chance to be set free. This is just because I want to experiment a little with getting the Tormented Spirits on me. I don't feel this is going to be really good, except for the Kalguran deposits. Well, those are usually going to spawn, or they're always going to spawn. No, they're not always going to spawn. They're usually going to spawn magic and rare monsters at some point. Those monsters are not going to immediately die, and therefore I should be able to get them with the Tormented Spirits. Should, not 100%, but it could be a good source of extra gold and equipment and dust. So, with that, as always, we are going to grab the Settlers on this tree, Eater of Worlds, and we'll go ahead and run one map. I will not be running all of these maps, all 20 maps, in this recording. Instead, I will, like last time, pause and come back at the end to share the results. And just for those of you who want to see, I have no ore, no bars, and 8.6 million dust. Crops don't really matter, it's just going to keep ticking in the background. Alright, so let's go run one map, shall we? I did switch to Jungle Valley. I farmed these maps up last night because Jungle Valley does not have a boss that is immediately available. So altars cannot be the effective boss type. So here we got the duplication one. We'll take it. This would be, of course, a much better strategy on 16.5 maps, but we're not doing that. If I get some more 16.5s, then we will test it on them as well. Oh. something killed me. Got through my block and did enough to one-shot me. I don't want Expedition Scarabs.
Win back your pride, challenger.
Okay.
Unexpected, but not unwelcome.
Grab all these.
Undisputed best axe in the game.
Ooh, these guys are exploding.
Spineless
That
creature.
explodes what's killing me. Okay. Don't know how. You can't reflect explode damage, but we'll figure it out.
Perhaps I can raise you.
What is going on here? I know about the max res, poison, fizzazz, ignite. Oh, 72% reduced chance to block. That explains it. Well, this is a really dangerous map for me then, but that's okay. What are my defenses at? Yeah, I have no block, no resistances. Okay. Alright, that's fine. I just have to keep moving then. Not let those hit me.
Unravel. Perhaps I can
Oh,
raise
I
you.
walked right into that. Turns out running into 8 mod tier 16 maps like this is dangerous. With no defenses. Okay, I think that's it for this map. Even with all my deaths, this map was a lot quicker. It took 4 minutes to fully complete this map, not counting, of course, dealing with the Exile, or the Mercenary, which I'm not going to. I'm also not going to bother with the boss. Oh, I was wrong. I thought this was the boss area. Oh, that was my mistake. There's the boss. Oh, normally I would hit that, but I'm not going to. Come here. There we go. Alright, 3 Orichalcomulters and 1 Bismuth. And it only gave me 1300, which is strange on a 250% quant map, but that's okay. So, alright, so this map took 5 minutes because of that goof. No big deal. Go ahead and start up the next one. I am on the right tree, right? Yeah, I thought so. So we gained about 20,000 gold, which is really, really low. And we gained about, looks like 15,000 thaumaturgic dust, which is also not very great. Okay. Now this build would definitely be better if I was not a AoE build that does all of my damage by running up to monsters. If I could actually control when the damage was dealt, that would be pretty good. I also unfortunately have ignite proliferation, and my all damage can ignite, so exploding these monsters.
This choice carries weight.
Okay. I wish I knew why these guys run away from you. You're considered a unique monster. What if it's because I'm technically doing damage to them?
Perhaps I can raise you.
One of these days I'll pay attention to that. Juicy, juicy armor scraps. Fun fact for those of you who have armor scraps hidden on your loot filter this week, like every week, they are actually worth 1 chaos per 3 in the auction house. So I have stacks of 4 or bigger enabled. Alright, forget that ghost. Enabled on my loot filter. This ensures that it's effectively the same as 1 chaos dropping on the ground. Wow, that corrupting blood. I will need to deal with that. Come on. Be a good dog. This is like the first one of these that I've got. Very interesting.
Undisputed best axe in the game.
Power of being possessed, I guess. Although I don't think I was possessed at the time I got that one. Okay. We're only doing this last map here so that we can show what it would normally look like with the possessed monsters instead of a map that stripped me of 50% of my maximum resistances and also stripped me of all of my block chance, which normally I don't have those kind of maps. One or the other, sure. Both at the same time with increased monster damage. That's a spicy one. Just go ahead and do this. tornado damaging it. That ain't cool. Alright, and that's it. Map is complete, effectively. And we'll go kill the boss, because why not? If they happen to be possessed, then that should be some good thaumaturgic dust if they actually do drop. Something that does need to be checked is whether or not it is all items are converted into dust, or if it's just one. Oh, they are doubled up. Okay.
Check this out.
Huh. Okay. Pretty sure. What is those under? I can never remember what those are under. Pretty sure those aren't worth anything. So, alright, we'll go ahead and pause and we'll come back at the end and let you know what the results were. Okay, and we are back. We're actually not quite done yet, but I decided that we were going to go ahead and stop, and I will tell you why. So, the Disenchanter converts items into dust, and frankly, it does a pretty good job. Any item that I drop that is worth picking up means that it's worth 5,000 dust or more per slot it uses in the enchanter. Now, there are exceptions, good one being this item right here, in fact. The Death's Oath, I pick it up because in future leagues I want to be able to source my own. Now, as it so happens, this one breaks down to something to the neighborhood of like 7,000 per, which is really good, but most of that's because I also qualityed to 20% before corrupting it, hoping to hit a good implicit. I didn't, but, you know, your mileage may vary. Everything else, though, if it's not at least 5,000 dust per, or it's not a big one like 20,000, it's gonna go in the garbage. Yeah, that's close enough. Actually, that's +2 to the little socketed minions. That might be worth something to someone. Nah. Not really. We'll go ahead and list it, just in case. Now, unfortunately, by volleying items like this, you brick them sometimes. A lot of these are bricked. Oh, hey. See if that's worth anything. Not really. Yeah, okay. And when they're bricked, they're not worth anything, usually. I've almost never bricked an item and made it actually better. Okay. So, we will go ahead and sell that, or dust that one. So here, we are seeing, what? 2.5 hours, it'll disenchant all of this, and we are well over 100,000 dust here. I'm just going to napkin math and say it's close to 200,000 dust. So it'll be 200,000 dust, and it will take 2.5 hours at 5,000 gold. So it will take just over 12,000 gold to get about 200,000 dust. That's a pretty poor return rate, to be perfectly honest. You're probably better off just going out buying a single tier 0 unique for a couple divines, throwing it in after you quality it up, and calling it a day. But this is why. Now, if you'll remember, when I began doing this, the first 5 maps I ran them. I had 8.609, I believe. I, over 5 maps, gained about 10,000 dust per map. Now, that doesn't mean I dusted any uniques or anything like that. It probably was all just random trash gear. But being that that gear was level 83, 84 gear, that amount of dust is pretty bad. This is, of course, taking into account a change that I even made.
Money.
Go ahead and just throw that in here real quick. The change that I made. Oh, and I also goofed and ran one map, apparently, that was not 8 mod corrupted. I have one left in my... No, wait, no, I had 6 maps. Okay, so I am good. The change that I made is I put the Scarab of Adversaries in. This can causes at least 4 additional packs with mirrored rare monsters. Now, if you'll remember, this node causes up to 5 monsters and their minions to be possessed and touched. So this means that at minimum, every map I will have at least 4 packs of possessed touched monsters with which to potentially get dust. Is it worth using? I don't think so. I don't think these in general are worth using, to be perfectly honest. I would most likely just drop the Speaker of the Dead, the map bosses and all this. I don't know what I would replace it with. For sure I'll grab the quant wheel, but it's not worth it to me. So these are going to be going away. I might honestly keep Seance. I might keep the Scarab of Adversaries and just see how it goes, because nothing else really changed. So by keeping those nodes, I can have these 8 points left to do something else with. Maybe I can find a way to come down here, block off some more of this content, which means I can undo these points. Who knows? We'll have to figure that out. But just wanted to go ahead and release this video, let you guys know what I found. The results were not as I expected. I did not honestly expect that we were going to not like having a 5% chance to get free dust. Now, the numbers are not in your favor when doing the strategy and farming ore. But if you are going all in on possessed monsters, and you also happen to do party play, which might affect the dust you get, and you happen to be doing like a unique farming strat with Rogue Exiles and what have you, then I could see it being worthwhile. You touch a Rogue Exile has a 5% chance of turning all of its uniques into dust. With the unique farming strategy, each Rogue Exile will drop like 30 unique items. That's probably hundreds of thousands of dust. That might be worth it. But to do that, you have to do, either strong boxes or blights or a whole bunch of stuff that I'm just not willing to do. There's also the potential, I do not know if it works, and I don't have one anyway, but you could use Fairgrave's Tricorn. This allows you to become possessed, I believe, permanently, and it stacks along with the other possessed effect. If you use the Fairgrave's Tricorn, which we'll go ahead and just pull up here. Yeah, you can be touched by a tormented spirit. So you can't be possessed, but you can be touched. So you will get the effects of being touched, and they stack with the Speaker of the Dead Keystone. This could be useful, because then you could go around, and when you kill those unique monsters, you'll have the extra quant and rarity and all that, but you give up a helmet slot for it. I can't with my build. My helmet is 100% of my single target damage, so I don't think we'll be doing that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or additions that you would like to make, feel free to leave them in the comments section. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.